When Sarah told me she wanted a divorce, I didn't flinch. Most husbands might plead, argue, or fight back, but I just sat there, silent, letting her words echo in the room. She probably expected me to break down, to beg her to stay, but the truth was, I had been expecting it for a long time. The distance between us had grown like a canyon. She stopped touching me, stopped laughing with me, stopped being the woman I married. Instead, she always seemed preoccupied smiling at texts she tried to hide, going out late with excuses that barely made sense. I knew what she was doing, I knew who she was seeing, but I never said a word. Why? Because patience is the sharpest weapon a betrayed man can carry. So when she sat across from me with her lawyer, tossing the word divorce across the table like it was a solution, I simply nodded. She blinked at me, clearly shocked. You're agreeing? She stammered, like she had rehearsed a fight, but I had pulled the script from under her. I leaned back and smiled. Of course. But only if you agree to one condition. Her lawyer shifted uncomfortably, asking what I meant. I slid a single document across the table. A contract. At first glance, it looked like standard financial agreements: asset division, debt settlements, property ownership. But buried deep within were clauses so carefully worded, so tightly bound, that they would strangle her future. It was legal. It was binding, and it was my masterpiece. Sarah picked up the pages, skimming through quickly, but her arrogance blinded her. She thought she had already won, that I was broken and beaten. Fine, she said, without even finishing the read. I'll sign. Her lawyer frowned, asking if she was sure, but she waved him off. He's giving me the divorce. That's all I want. And with a flick of her pen, she sealed her fate. What she didn't know was that for months I had been preparing for this moment. I had gathered evidence of her affair, every detail of her betrayal: photos, messages, recordings. And hidden in that contract was a clause that transferred liability for marital misconduct onto her. She thought she'd be walking away with half of everything. Instead, she had signed away her right to alimony, her right to the house, her claim to my assets. All of it. Gone in seconds. The day she moved out, she did it with pride. She wore her new dress, flashed her new boyfriend's car keys, and told our friends she had finally set herself free. She thought I had surrendered. She thought she had won. But victory is sweeter when the loser doesn't even realize they're already defeated. It took only a few weeks for the reality to sink in. Her lawyer called her in a panic, explaining that she had effectively signed everything over to me. She had no claim on the house, no claim on our joint savings, not even a claim on the car she loved driving. Worse still, the contract required her to pay back debts she had hidden in my name, debts I had carefully documented. Overnight, the life she had dreamed of collapsed. She stormed into my office one afternoon, red with fury. "You tricked me!" she screamed. I leaned back in my chair, calm as ever, and said, "No, you signed willingly. Remember, you said all you wanted was the divorce." Her face twisted, realizing she had been outplayed. She lunged for the contract, but it was useless. A copy had already been filed with the court. Her lover wasn't much help either. At first, he had been excited to play the role of her rescuer. But as her financial troubles piled up, as the debts came knocking, he started pulling away. One night, I heard from a mutual friend that he had dumped her, saying she was too much baggage. The same man she sacrificed our marriage for walked away when she needed him most. Meanwhile, I thrived. With the house, the business, and the savings secure, I rebuilt my life. I wasn't bitter. I wasn't broken. In fact, I felt freer than I had in years. Every time I walked into my home, I smiled, remembering how she had believed she was walking away victorious, only to realize the battlefield had been rigged from the start. Months later, I ran into her at a grocery store. She looked thinner, stressed, carrying cheap bags filled with instant meals. The spark in her eyes was gone, replaced with a dull glare of someone who had lost everything. She couldn't even look at me directly. She muttered a weak hi and tried to walk past me, but I stopped her, just for a second. You know, I said calmly, when you filed for divorce, I didn't fight you. I let you have what you wanted. The only thing you didn't realize was that I was ready for it before you even made your move. Her lips trembled, but she had no words. She knew I was right. She had underestimated me. I walked away that day not with bitterness but with satisfaction. Revenge isn't always loud or violent. Sometimes it's a pen stroke. Sometimes it's letting someone hang themselves with their own rope. And Sarah, she signed away her own happiness, her own future, because she was blinded by arrogance. The truth is, I could have confronted her affair. I could have screamed, begged, or tried to fix things. But why waste energy on a woman who had already chosen someone else? My silence was my weapon. My patience was my shield. And my trap, the one hidden in a simple contract, was the final nail in her coffin. She wanted freedom. What she got instead was ruin. And me, I walked away with everything intact, stronger than before. Because while she thought she was clever, she never realized that I had been 3 steps ahead all along.